Hey guys, Hutan here. In today's video, I want to talk to you about downtown Toronto's rent prices. As you're aware, in the past couple of years, rent prices had been going up year over year. But since the pandemic has started, the rent prices have dropped 10%. I'd be curious to know why this is happening. Because of this pandemic, more people are staying home and therefore the need for housing is going up. So why the rent prices are going down? There are two major factors that are impacting supply and demand. On the supply side, there have been a lot of investors that are owning Airbnb properties in downtown Toronto, and for either for short-term rental, for vacation rental, or executive rental. Ever since the pandemic started, all the borders have been shut down. Therefore, there hasn't been any tourists in Toronto and there hasn't been any executives traveling to downtown Toronto for work. Therefore, all these Airbnb properties were sitting on the market. As a result of that, all the investors that had those Airbnb properties, now they flooded the market for the long-term rental because now they want to rent their properties for the long term. Therefore, there's been a surge of supply in the rental market. On the demand side, last year we had about 200,000 people immigrated to Toronto and about 20,000 international students came to Toronto for higher education. Usually the new immigrants and international students rent a place for the first couple of years when they come in, and that had contributed to the demand side of the rental market. Ever since the pandemic started and all our borders were shut, that number came down to zero. So if you want to put things into perspective, for the past 2 months, we were supposed to get 35,000 people coming to Toronto and rent a place, and that number came to stop. So therefore, you can see on the demand side, the demand has been substantially reduced because of this pandemic. Therefore, the surge in the supply and the reduction in the demand have caused the rent prices to go down by 10%. In these environments, landlords compete with each other and lower their prices to rent out their places and avoid a vacancy. So what does that mean in future? Chances are rent prices are going to stay low or even drop furthermore, because in addition to what I said earlier, there are a lot of new constructions are being ready this year on the second half of 2020, and that will add more to the supply. So what does that mean for you? If you're a renter, this is a good opportunity for you to find a nice place and lock it for a year or even 2 years. If you are real estate investors, make sure you use the correct numbers, correct rent numbers, and correct rent projections, because rent prices are dropping and you need to make sure that you use the proper number, and always make sure you're cash flow positive.